Chapter 1. The quest begins. Dr. Maria Sanchez had been obsessed with the lost city of Atlantis ever since she was a child. Her father, a historian, used to tell her stories of the fabled city, and Maria had spent countless hours poring over books and articles about it. Now, as an accomplished archaeologist in her 30s, Maria was determined to find Atlantis for herself. She had assembled a team of experts, including a linguist, a geologist, and a technology specialist, and secured funding from a wealthy benefactor who shared her passion for the project. As the team boarded their research vessel, Maria's heart raced with anticipation. This was the moment she had been waiting for her entire life. She walked the deck, inspecting the equipment and supplies, and gave orders to the crew. The journey was long and difficult. They faced treacherous weather conditions and equipment failures, but Maria remained focused on the goal. They finally arrived at the location of Atlantis, a remote area of the Atlantic Ocean, and began to prepare for their first dive. Maria donned her scuba gear and plunged into the water, the thrill of discovery coursing through her veins. She swam through the murky depths, her flashlight piercing the darkness. As she approached a rocky outcropping, she caught sight of something glinting in the distance. Heart racing with excitement, Maria swam closer and saw that it was a piece of metal, covered in strange symbols. She carefully picked it up, feeling a rush of excitement and wonder. This was proof that Atlantis was real, and that they were on the right track. Maria surfaced and climbed back onto the research vessel, holding the metal artifact tightly. The team gathered around her, eager to see what she had found. "This is it," Maria said, her voice barely above a whisper. "This is the first piece of evidence we've found that proves Atlantis really existed. We're on the cusp of something incredible." The team cheered and congratulated Maria, and she felt a sense of pride and joy that she had never experienced before. This was just the beginning, but she knew that the journey ahead would be long and difficult. She was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, as long as it meant she could uncover the secrets of Atlantis and unlock the mysteries of the past. Chapter 2. Uncovering the ruins. Excitement surged through the team as they began exploring the area around the site where Maria had found the metal artifact. They used advanced sonar and mapping technology to create a three-dimensional image of the underwater landscape and identify points of interest for exploration. As they dove deeper, they began to uncover the ruins of an ancient city, with massive stone pillars and intricately carved statues. The team was amazed at the level of detail and precision in the architecture, and the sheer scale of the city was breathtaking. They set up a base camp on a nearby island, and the team spent long days underwater, documenting the ruins and collecting samples for analysis. Maria worked tirelessly, poring over every detail, trying to piece together the puzzle of Atlantis history. It wasn't long before they found evidence of advanced technology, including a network of interconnected tunnels and a system of hydraulic lifts that suggested the Atlantans were far more advanced than any other civilization of their time. But for all their technological prowess, the team found no evidence of weaponry or defenses, leading Maria to wonder what could have caused the fall of such a powerful civilization. As they continued to explore, they began to notice the presence of traps and security measures, suggesting that the Atlantans had gone to great lengths to protect their secrets. The team had to be careful not to trigger any of the traps, which could be deadly. Despite the danger, the team pressed on, driven by the desire to uncover the truth about Atlantis. They worked tirelessly, poring over every detail, and it wasn't long before they made an incredible discovery: a massive chamber filled with glowing crystals, pulsing with energy. Maria's heart raced as she stepped into the chamber, her flashlight illuminating the glittering walls. She could feel the power of the crystals, almost as if they were alive. This was the source of the Atlantans' power, the key to their advanced technology. The team worked feverishly to collect samples and document their findings, but as they prepared to leave the chamber, they heard the sound of a distant explosion. They quickly made their way back to the surface, only to find that their base camp had been destroyed. Rival treasure hunters, intent on claiming the riches of Atlantis for themselves, had attacked their camp. The team had to fight for their lives, using all their skills and training to fend off their attackers. As the smoke cleared and the team took stock of the damage, Maria couldn't help but feel a sense of sadness and loss. They had come so far and risked so much, but the dangers of their quest were becoming all too real. But she knew that they couldn't give up, not now, not when they were so close to uncovering the truth about Atlantis. She steeled herself, ready to face whatever lay ahead, no matter the cost. Chapter 3: Betrayal and Reckoning. The attack on their camp had left the team shaken, but they refused to be deterred. They salvaged what they could from the wreckage and regrouped, determined to continue their search for the secrets of Atlantis. As they dug deeper into the ruins, they began to find more evidence of the advanced technology used by the Atlanteans. The team discovered a massive underground factory, filled with machines and tools unlike anything they had ever seen. As they explored the factory, they heard a strange noise coming from one of the machines. When they investigated, they found that someone had tampered with the controls, causing the machine to overheat and explode. Maria and her team realized that they weren't alone in the ruins of Atlantis. Someone else was here, and they were determined to stop them from finding what they were looking for. They couldn't be sure who it was, but they knew that whoever it was, they were dangerous and determined. As the team worked to repair the damage and continue their exploration, tensions grew high. They began to suspect each other, wondering if one of their own was secretly working against them. Rhea tried to keep everyone focused on the task at hand, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. One night, as the team was preparing to bed down for the night, Rhea overheard a conversation between two of her team members. They were discussing a plan to steal the crystals and sell them on the black market, abandoning the rest of the team in the process. Rhea was furious. She had trusted these people, and they had betrayed her. But she knew that there was no time for anger or recrimination. She had to act quickly if she was going to stop them. The next morning, Rhea confronted the two traitors and demanded that they leave immediately. The two men protested, but Maria stood firm. She wasn't going to let anyone jeopardize the safety of the team or the success of their mission. As the two men packed up their gear and left the camp, the rest of the team rallied around Maria. They were united, stronger than ever before, and more determined than ever to unlock the secrets of Atlantis. The team continued their exploration, discovering more and more about the advanced civilization that had once thrived in the underwater city. They studied the crystals, marveling at their power, and experimented with the machinery, trying to unlock its secrets. As they worked, Maria couldn't help but wonder who had attacked their camp and what their motivations were. But for now, she was content to focus on the task at hand, trusting that the truth would reveal itself in time. Chapter 4: A Dangerous Discovery. Maria and her team continued to explore the ruins of Atlantis, uncovering more secrets and mysteries with each passing day. They studied the machinery and the crystals, experimenting and testing, trying to understand the advanced technology that had once been used by the Atlanteans. One day, as they were exploring a particularly intricate chamber, Maria made a startling discovery. Hidden in a secret alcove, she found a tablet inscribed with a strange script that none of them had ever seen before. Excitement and curiosity surged through the team as they worked to translate the script. Maria pored over the tablet, studying the symbols and comparing them to other languages, but the text remained elusive. As they continued to work, they began to notice that the crystals in the chamber were behaving strangely, emitting an eerie glow that seemed to be reacting to the text on the tablet. Rhea realized that the two were connected, that the tablet held the key to unlocking the full power of the crystals. But as she began to work on deciphering the script, she began to notice strange changes in her behavior and thought patterns. At first, she thought it was just exhaustion, the toll of long hours spent diving and studying. But as the days passed, she became increasingly erratic and agitated, her mind consumed by a growing obsession with the text on the tablet. The rest of the team began to notice the change in her behavior, and they became increasingly concerned. They tried to get her to rest and take a break from her work, but Maria was convinced that she was on the brink of a major breakthrough. As she worked to unravel the mysteries of the tablet and the crystals, Maria began to experience vivid and terrifying hallucinations, visions of a dark and malevolent force that threatened to consume her mind and soul. She knew that she was in danger, that she had to stop before it was too late, but the lure of the power and knowledge that she had uncovered was too great to resist. As the team watched in horror, Maria's obsession grew, and she began to believe that the only way to fully unlock the power of the crystals was to merge with them, to become one with their energy. The team was powerless to stop her as Maria climbed into the chamber, her body bathed in the pulsing light of the crystals. They watched in horror as she vanished into the light, consumed by the power that she had sought for so long. The team was left reeling, their leader gone, consumed by her own obsession. They knew that they had to get out of the ruins, that it was no longer safe, but they also knew that they couldn't leave without uncovering the truth about Atlantis. As they gathered their gear and prepared to leave, they heard the sound of a distant explosion, followed by the unmistakable whine of a submarine's engines. They realized that they were not alone, and that whoever was after the secrets of Atlantis had just arrived. Chapter 5, Betrayal and Escape. The team huddled together, listening as the sound of the approaching submarine grew louder. They knew that they had to leave quickly, but they also knew that they couldn't just abandon their research and their leader's legacy. As they hastily gathered their equipment and notes, they heard the sound of footsteps echoing down the corridor. They knew that they were running out of time. Suddenly, the door to their chamber burst open, and a group of armed men rushed in, their weapons at the ready. The team scrambled to defend themselves, but they were quickly overpowered and taken captive. The men who had captured them were heavily armed and spoke a language that none of the team recognized. They were ruthless and efficient, and they showed no mercy to their captives. The team was taken aboard the submarine and transported to a secret location, where they were locked up in a dark and damp cell. They were given little food or water, and they were left to rot in their cell, their spirits broken and their hope of escape fading. Days turned into weeks, and the team had given up all hope of ever escaping. They were resigned to their fate, and they had accepted that they would likely die in that cell. But then, one day, they heard a commotion outside their cell. They could hear shouting and the sounds of a struggle, and then suddenly the door to their cell swung open. In the doorway stood a figure that they recognized immediately, Maria. But she was different now, changed by her experience with the crystals. Her eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, and her skin seemed to shimmer with energy. Maria had become one with the crystals, and in doing so, she had gained incredible power. She used that power to free her team, blasting their captors with waves of energy that sent them flying across the room. The team followed Maria as she led them through the labyrinthine corridors of the base, fighting their way past guards and obstacles. They knew that they had to get out before the base self-destructed, and time was running out. Finally, they made it to the surface, and they saw the submarine that had brought them there. Maria used her powers to destroy the submarine, taking out their captors and ensuring that they could never come after them again. The team was free, but they were forever changed by their experience. They had uncovered the secrets of Atlantis, but they had paid a heavy price for that knowledge. They knew that they could never forget what they had learned, and that they would carry the memory of their journey with them forever. Chapter 6 returned to the surface. As the team emerged from the secret base, they were greeted by the bright light of day and the fresh sea air. For a moment, they just stood there, blinking in the sunlight and breathing in the salty breeze. It felt good to be free, to be alive. But their relief was short-lived. They knew that they had to report their findings to the authorities, and they also knew that they had to protect their discovery from falling into the wrong hands. They decided to make their way to a nearby research vessel that had been sent to the area to investigate strange readings. They hoped that the vessel's crew could help them contact the outside world and share their findings with the rest of humanity. As they made their way to the vessel, the team discussed their findings and the incredible power of the crystals. They realized that their discovery could change the course of human history, but they also knew that it could be misused and abused. When they arrived at the vessel, they were met with skepticism and disbelief. The crew of the research vessel was reluctant to believe their wild story, and they demanded proof. But the team had come prepared. They had brought with them samples of the crystals, along with their notes and recordings of their experiences. They presented their evidence to the crew, and slowly but surely, the crew began to realize the truth of their claims. The team spent the next few weeks aboard the research vessel, analyzing their findings and sharing their knowledge with the crew. They knew that they had to be careful, as there were powerful forces in the world who would stop at nothing to get their hands on the crystals. As they made their way back to civilization, the team couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. They knew that their discovery would change the world, but they also knew that it could be dangerous. They were hailed as heroes when they arrived back on land, but they knew that their work was far from over. They would spend the rest of their lives trying to protect the crystals and ensure that they were used for good, not evil. Their journey had been long and perilous, but it had also been one of discovery and wonder. They had uncovered the secrets of Atlantis, and in doing so, they had unlocked the power of the universe itself. And they knew that they would never be the same again. Chapter 7. The Aftermath. After returning from their adventure, the team was met with a flurry of media attention and scientific curiosity. The world was abuzz with news of their discovery, and people from all over the world were clamoring to learn more about the crystals. The team was hailed as heroes, and they were invited to speak at scientific conferences and symposiums all over the world. They shared their findings with the scientific community, hoping that their discovery could be used for the betterment of humanity. But they soon realized that not everyone had good intentions. There were powerful corporations and governments who were eager to get their hands on the crystals and use their power for their own gain. The team knew that they had to act quickly to protect their discovery. They formed a non-profit organization to oversee the research and development of the crystals, and they hired a team of security experts to protect their facilities and equipment. But their efforts were not enough. They soon discovered that there were those who would stop at nothing to get their hands on the crystals, and they found themselves under constant attack. One night, as the team was working late in their lab, they were suddenly assaulted by a group of armed men. The attackers were heavily armed and had clearly come prepared for a fight. The team fought back as best they could, but they were no match for their heavily armed assailants. They were outnumbered and outgunned, and they soon found themselves overpowered and captured. They were taken to a secret location and held captive for weeks, their captors demanding that they reveal the location of the crystals. But the team refused to talk, knowing that the crystals were too powerful to be used for evil. In the end, they were rescued by a team of undercover agents who had been working to infiltrate the criminal organization behind the attack. The team was grateful for their rescue, but they knew that they could never let their guard down. Their discovery had brought them fame and fortune, but it had also brought danger and intrigue. They knew that they had to continue to protect their discovery, no matter the cost. And they also knew that they would never forget their journey to Atlantis, and the incredible power of the crystals that they had uncovered.